Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be discussing why you can't gain weight, right? You might be asking yourself, why can't I gain weight and how exactly to gain muscle as a natty teen lifter? But before we get into that, my name is Noah. I'm the founder of Get Her Done Fitness, and I made it my mission to help all the young men get the body and confidence you've always wanted. And I'm currently hosting a free video training where I'm showing you guys how to do exactly that. I'm showing you the exact copy-paste system that I learned in the past few years to gain 40 pounds. That's going to help you to make the quickest and best transformation possible, because I've been through all the ups and downs and the trial and error so that you don't have to. And I know what exactly works and what doesn't work. And so if you guys don't want to miss out on that, go down below and click that first link to watch that free video training. You guys are not going to regret it. But let's hop into the video. Why you can't gain weight, okay? So when it comes to gaining muscle, right, it comes down ultimately to a set of key principles, right? There are other things that you can do that will help a little bit, but it's going to boil down to like a very specific set of keys and principles that if you don't follow these, you are simply going to have very subpar or no results at all. And so if you want to get some amazing results, let's hop right into this, okay? So the number one thing that you need to have in place is going to be a caloric surplus, or some sort of way to give your body the fuel to build the muscle, right? Because your body cannot build muscle. It cannot add muscle tissue, right? It needs to go in and actually build that tissue out of the stuff that you give it to do so. And so if you don't give it that energy, if you don't give it that fuel, you're simply not going to be able to gain muscle and grow. Okay, so that fuel is going to come from your calories, okay? That's why you need to be in a caloric surplus. The actual building blocks that your body is going to use to build that weight is going to come from your protein. So imagine the calories and the carbs and the fats as the fuel, and the protein is the actual building blocks. And so what exactly this means is that you need to be in a caloric surplus. You need to be consuming more calories than you're burning if you are skinnier and have a lower body fat percentage. But if you have a little bit of extra body fat that you're trying to burn, then you can be in less of a caloric surplus and more of a caloric maintenance, and then your body's going to use that stored body fat as the fuel. And so not only is that going to help you to gain muscle, but it's also going to help you to get rid of that body fat. And so that is something that a lot of people miss out on, right? They go into the gym, they train hard, and they recover right, but they simply don't eat right? They're not eating enough. They're not eating enough protein. They're not eating enough calories. And so they're simply not able to gain any muscle despite all of their hard work in the gym, right? So you got to work hard in the kitchen and eating, and you also got to work hard in the gym, and you also got to work hard to recover. And that is going to bring us into our next point. So the next point is going to be how you're training in the gym. You have to be going into the gym and training hard, because the only reason your muscle is going to grow is due to a stimulus, right? A new stimulus that's added to it. Because if you think about it, your muscles, as they are right now, have a certain workload capacity, right? So they can lift, this is just an example, right? Say that I can bench press 200 pounds. So if I can bench press 200 pounds, that means that is my current workload that my muscles can handle. You know, my chest and triceps can handle that workload. They can handle 200 pounds for one rep. But after that, they just can't do any more. They can't do any more reps of that, okay? And so if I then go in and I add in that new workload, if I provide that new stimulus, it's going to give it the reason to grow. And so if I can bench press 200 pounds for one, then maybe I can do like 185 for 3. So if I then go in and I do 185 for 3 reps, and then I go in next time and I try to hit that for 4 reps, I try to just crank out that 4th one, and I'm able to get it, I therefore provided that new stimulus. And so that new stimulus is going to cause the muscle breakdown, obviously, but it's also going to give your muscles a reason to grow, because you broke them down and you tore them, you know, all those little micro tears. That's going to lead to hypertrophy, because the hypertrophy and the muscle growth is going to come from that stimulus, because that stimulus is added, and then your muscles are like, oh shit, I got to grow to accommodate for this new stimulus that was added. And then essentially you're just going to be compounding on that. So every single session that you go in and train, you're going to be trying to get more weight or more reps or more intensity, less rest, more drop sets. So basically just training harder, training more intensely, training harder, doing more weight, just making it harder every single time. And your body is slowly going to adapt to that, right? Adapt to that new, heavier, or more of a workload. And so in return, you're then going to get bigger muscles. You're then going to grow. Okay, and then the last part of this is going to be your recovery. Your recovery is absolutely vital to the muscle growth, because this is when you're actually growing. Like, this is literally the part of your muscle building journey where the muscle is actually being built, is while you are recovering. You go into the gym and you break it down, and then you give yourself the fuel and the protein to rebuild that muscle. But then now you need to give your body that time to do so. Because if I were to go in and train chest on Monday, and then so if I were to go in and train shoulders on Monday, and then I train them again on Tuesday, and then again on Wednesday, and then again on Thursday, and think, wow, I trained them 4 days in a row, so I'm gonna get tons of growth, right? No, that's not the case, because what's gonna happen is that you're not giving your body the time to recover. You're not giving your shoulders the time for the muscle fibers to recover and hypertrophy, right? And so you're simply not going to grow, because you're not giving it that time, because you're going in like while they're in the repairing process, and you're breaking them down again. And then they're trying to repair, they're trying to build up, and then it stifles because you go in and break them down again. And so you want to give yourself about 48 hours in between every single muscle group, and that's going to allow you to have that time for that muscle group to recover. And so that you can then go in and train it appropriately and train it hard, so that you can do the same thing over and over again. And that's how the cycle works. And the bottom line is that if you are not following the cycle, you are not going to gain any weight. You're not going to gain any muscle, because this is the only way to gain muscle, right? And some people are going to say, well, my cousin, he did this diet where he ate only raw eggs and he just did 10,000 push-ups every day. Yeah, of course he gained muscle, because he was probably eating in a surplus, with all the eggs he was eating, and then the protein from the eggs, and he was doing a lot of push-ups. It was really intense, really hard. He's probably training hard. Like, there are a million different cases where people, they follow this without even realizing it, and then they give the reason to something else. And so in other words, if they ate keto, if they ate in a ketogenic diet and they gained all this muscle, it's like, well, I ate keto and I gained muscle, so that's like the only way to gain muscle, right? And you need to do this as well. Or like, oh, I only ate this, and this at this time during the day, and I was able to gain muscle. It's like, no, yes, you did, and you did gain muscle, but that's not the reason. The reason was because you either intentionally or unintentionally followed these basic principles to gain that muscle. I hope you guys found this information useful. If you never want to miss a new video, make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Always remember to get her done.